All right, Hillary Clinton caught dissing the DNC.
I inherit nothing from the Democratic Party.
What do you mean nothing?
I mean, it was bankrupt. It was on the verge of insolvency. Its data was mediocre to poor, non-existent, wrong.
All right, as Hillary plays the blame game here, former Vice President Joe Biden apparently jumping into this mix by launching a new PAC. So with no real clear leader right now, does the DNC have some work to do? Can they get it together? Joining me now is former Director of Strategic Communications for Hillary Clinton, Adrienne Elrod. Adrienne, thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell me at this point right now, who's running the party? Who is kind of the figurehead?
Well, look, you know, we're about 6 months away from the presidential election of 2016, so we have a lot of folks who are putting themselves forward, looking forward to 2018 and to the 2020 presidential election. We don't necessarily have one particular leader, and that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I see Joe Biden creating the PAC. Is he a serious contender in 2020? He'll be 77 years old or something like that?
Well, look, he could run in 2020. Who knows? But we also have a deep bench of other potential candidates, including Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Mark Cuban, Tim Ryan. You know, who knows? But it's great that he's putting his donor network to where the need really is right now, which is to support other Democratic candidates.
Certainly, Mark Cuban certainly would be an interesting one if you wanted to swing to the middle and pick up a lot of the right. That could work. Let's talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton and the things that she has blamed her loss on. Let's put up a list right here real quick, and I want you to respond to it if we can throw that thing up. I mean, these are just some of them. The FBI, James Comey, the Russians. I mean, there's so many of them. You see this list here. The last couple of days, I think both sides can agree, have been somewhat unbecoming for such a powerful person to sit there and play this type of game. What did you make of this? Would you have advised her to go on and make these kinds of comments and make these kinds of blames?
Well, first of all, let's look at the facts here. She was speaking at a tech conference, and she was talking a lot about the lack of technology that the Democratic Party had and that she had to deal with. But, you know, look, so many of us who were on the campaign saw the Russian influence, the way that the WikiLeaks scandal and so many other factors contributed to the ultimate outcome. You know, Hillary Clinton has always been criticized for not being frank and not speaking her mind, and now she is, and she's getting criticized for that. So, you know, again, I think her frankness is very important. It's something we all need to hear, and we should all be concerned about the Russian influence on this election.
No, that's fair enough, but I mean, I wouldn't say that, you know, it's uncommon for things like this to happen. I mean, you know, she didn't say anything about the fact that she was given questions by CNN for one of the debates. I mean, she didn't give any credit to the fact that I think you could say the mainstream media was pretty much on her bench with this election. I mean, this was almost an unlosable thing. And at the end of the day, she lost a lot of states she was supposed to win. She didn't even go into Wisconsin. She just assumed that she was going to get that one to turn blue, as the Democrats usually do. So, I mean, how does she not take any of the blame for herself and dump it on everybody else?
Well, she did take a lot of the blame for herself. She made it very clear that she made a lot of mistakes, and she's owning all of those mistakes. But, you know, again, I will first of all reject the premise that the mainstream media was on her side. That was by no means the case throughout most of the campaign. But all of that withstanding, look, she's talking about the myriad of obstacles that many of us face, that she faced during the campaign as a candidate, but also trying to work on how we can move forward as a party and rebuild and make sure that things like this do not happen again.
It's going to be interesting to see which way the Democrats go here. They've got the Tom Perez type option. They got the Mark Cuban type option. We'll see which one they kind of stick with. Thank you so much for coming on this morning, Adrienne. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
And the amount of money that she raised. She didn't need anything from the DNC.
3 to 1. Yeah. I mean, it was they didn't have a lot of disadvantages.
Right.
So, yeah.